Was that a whelp of a puppy?
I'm also going to clap. I'm doing 3 claps. So you know where mine starts. Okay.
Ayushi, what's your introductory sound?
Yeah.
I just have I can't focus this. I'm sweating so much.
Listen, put on the fan. It's okay if the fan sound comes.
I have
Even
to.
my fan sound will come.
Just give me 1 second. I have to put on the fan.
Yeah.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to episode 75 of Agla Station Adulthood. While Ayushi turns on her fan, I am going to say hello to all of you. As you know, Ayushi, sorry, while you were putting the fan on, I said hello, hi, and welcome.
That's great. It's fine. I say it every week.
Okay, yeah, I know this is true. And last week's episode, thanks for listening, those of you who did. And if you're as confused as I am still about cryptocurrency, we will take the conversation offline and we can form a support group for people to learn about crypto.
Literally, our title was crying over crypto. We could not have made it more sad if we tried. But that was a great setup for this episode, which has nothing to do with that episode.
It is a purely love episode today because Ayushi and I just love this guest. Sorry.
We've creeped him out already.
No.
We don't get a lot of dudes on our show, you know.
Only top quality ones.
Yeah. The cream of Kerala is here. For our 75th episode, which honestly, sidebar, that's really big, man, Tash. We did it. We're
conglomerations. We are so old.
Yeah, we are halfway through season 2. And for that exact reason, we have the specialists of guests, the samest of shirts, the prawniest of uncles, the cream of Canada, Naveen Richard.
I think it's Naveen Richard, Ayushi. Why don't we have Naveen himself?
Has he frozen?
I think he's playing
it's just a podcast
trend where
it's a podcast prank, guys. I got you.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I'm so smart. I said it's a prank.
You're on my page, dude. You're on my page. We're on the same page.
Wow.
Actually, come on.
Why don't we ask
friends,
you?
Man. It's a podcast prank.
I can't believe
brought to you by Westside, our clothing
I fell
partner.
for it.
Yes.
Is Ayushi glitching or is my internet unstable?
Is that another prank?
Dude, it's her, dude. Of all the people. No, it was you. We didn't email each other before this podcast to say, let's prank Ayushi. That was you, man.
You don't understand.
You have no excuse. You're in Bombay.
The problem with playing podcast pranks is that this is usually audio format. So what listener might think is just that the sound went out. They can't see that Naveen is pretending to be frozen on the screen in like a really weird position and we're falling for it.
Sucks for them. They should have been here. So whatever, man.
I would just like to take this momentous moment to tell the viewers and listeners and you all that this episode might be on video format. So they get to see the visual of the prank. Perhaps.
It might. It will. Are you guys upgrading finally?
I have asked a question. It is on the cards.
Okay.
We invited you and we said this was
no?
a professional setup. We were lying.
I was promised many things. Yes. A glass of water. I don't see any.
Is my internet bad?
No,
why are we
fine
lagging
now.
Is it me? Okay. It's fine now, right?
You are like too good.
If I open the door, will the internet get better? I don't know how these waves work.
That's what I'm thinking as well. Do you think
you have to open the door? Yes. So this one time during lockdown,
I think I have to let my internet in. Just give me 1 second.
No problem.
Just use 4G. I keep telling people every time people from Bombay, and I'm like, I'm living in a forest. You're in a mountain. Internet's fine because we're using 4G. So Wi-Fi, that's the problem.
My 4G is not great here either, though I have to say.
Oh, are you on Wi-Fi? Okay.
Right now I am.
Internet?
Oh.
Shocking.
So
Are you on 4G? What a conversation.
My Wi-Fi doesn't even get here. I mean, the cable hasn't reached my house.
Your 4G is too good. Your lips are moving and the sound is the exact same. There's no lag. Wow.
Yeah.
Yum. Sorry.
So she's fine. She's back now.
Ayushi, are you doing the prank on us?
Honestly, all I heard is lips and yum. So I don't know what you guys are talking
Ayushi.
about. No,
Come on.
no, there's no prank.
No. You're
Check,
actually suffering
Check.
All
from
of this
poor
is not
internet.
usable.
Check. Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, okay. We'll start professionally now.
I think
I was a little away from the. Yeah, okay. Cool. Are we good?
I'm thinking none of this is usable so far.
Yeah.
we
We can
heard
start
you.
professionally again. We warmed up. And she's stuck again.
Oh
Great.
God.
This is inexcusable in the cosmopolitan city. Cosmopolitan Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you're back. Oh, fucking flies.
You can see me coming very close.
Yeah.
Yes, you're looking good. Nice. Good
Okay.
skincare.
Have some sort of stability in our internet. Let's, Tash, are you trying to give me a signal for something?
No, not at all.
By
I was just
waving?
making the flies fly away. There's a fly problem.
I thought you were telling me to like move past something, or because we haven't come up with a sophisticated signaling system for each other.
I think it should be this.
We should have a long time ago, but we haven't.
Natasha, your hair is so tight.
Well, I've been.
Natasha, your hair is so tight.
I'm having the worst hair life right now, but that's another problem. We can talk about natural cures for dandruff later. Oh,
2
well
weeks.
done.
I don't know. I have nothing to report that's good. I just discovered something really tragic today.
What?
Is that I can't eat more than 2 in one day.
I ate 2 bananas today, so I'm maxed out.
You're maxed out. The thing is, we've been having a banana
Wait, why?
bonanza here.
Why? Because
But why can't you eat more
Why?
than
Because there's
three bananas?
too much magnesium and potassium. Thing is, my teeth have been feeling weird for a while. Okay, and I'm like, why?
Wait,
So
your teeth or your feet?
my teeth,
oh, I heard feet actually. Okay, continue.
Okay.
my teeth are
same.
feeling weird. And I've been trying to figure it out. I'm like, is it because I'm drinking out of a plastic bottle? I ruled that out, and I'm like still feeling weird. And a few days ago, I was like, what are the benefits of banana? I was doing one of those Google searches, and it said, oh, it's got good magnesium and potassium. Today, something went off in my brain. I'm like, am I getting too much magnesium? So then I Googled, what are the side effects of
Too much
excess
magnesium.
magnesium? That's death. So I'm like, well, I'm not dead. So then I said, what are the side effects of too much potassium? And it says something about tingly feelings. And I'm like, I think my teeth are tingling. Then I went, okay, how many bananas can you eat? 2 to 3. And I have overconsumed lately.
How many bananas do you eat?
Yeah,
a
how
day?
many are you eating normally?
See, for breakfast, I eat 2 plantains, which is like the long ones.
Big bananas.
Ah,
They're boiled, and I have that. Then the rest, so that already my banana quota is topped up for breakfast. Then through the day, the thing is, we're having a banana harvest here in Kerala.
I love it.
And there's too many bananas. They're like reaping at the seams, these bananas. I'm trying to finish them off. It's like a race. I have to eat them before they go bad. And now my teeth are weird. So it's tragic. I shouldn't use the word tragic lightly in these days. So let's not use that word.
but for you, this is tragic because I would feel very scared if suddenly my teeth started tingling.
Yeah.
And then to find out that the root cause is banana, it's like I did this to myself. That would feel the worst to me. It's like I put my teeth through this because I could not, like, because you are an unsatiable banana fiend.
Yeah, I can't blame the big companies, the big corporates. They didn't do it. This
Exactly.
is organic on my own land. And
This is not the government's fault. This is your
Nope.
fault.
What else grows with these bananas in your fields?
we got one guava tree here. There's another guava tree there. We just cut it down because the guava tastes crappy from that one. I didn't know that different guava trees can, just growing near the same place, the DNA or whatever, it's enormous difference. So we kept this one, some chiku at the back.
Oh, of course, you have
I've seen the
trees.
Chiku stories back in the day. Sapota, it was a whole series of stories. I just
That's right.
love it.
That's right.
Put him in the box. It's there. She goes. It's just, you don't understand. Every time I watch one of your videos, I get stuck sounding like you for 2 days.
Oh, man, that's
I
wonderful.
can't undo it.
That's wonderful.
But you don't understand. Nobody
Very-
else in my house has context to why I've suddenly started sounding like
Oh,
not.
man.
And you might think that at some point I'm doing some weird accent that is maybe mildly offensive to somebody. I'm not sure to who, but it's offensive to
know.
someone. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
But I'm just walking around like, oh, that is
It's offensive to YouTube cooks. Yeah, today we will be cooking a very delicious dish at Veeragavalam. No offense to our YouTube cooks around the world. Let's get right into it. Oh, man.
It's so simple. It takes so little.
Naveen, we
Oh,
have
man.
been your biggest fans for years now. You know this.
You guys are the most charming
No.
duo I know.
And this
Oh,
was
man.
like, but when
And to
we,
get any compliment from you guys is exceeds 100 compliments from other people, because you guys are nice and cool and tasteful, and it's nice, you know. So
you
take
don't
that.
understand how I'm going to basically turn that clip into my ringtone.
Remix it.
I have been using this podcast as a chance to just talk to people that I really think are cool, and using Rytasha's fame as like a leverage to like contact people.
This is a whole scam for Ayushi to make
Yeah.
new friends. Yeah, I think so.
I took that resolution in 2019. I was like, you know what? I got to branch out. And then by branch out, I meant tap into your Instagram people, and then just kind of go through
Go
that.
from
Naveen and I
there.
go way back. We
That's right.
before
It
Instagram.
was the first time before BLF.
No, it was
before
that
that?
only. It was BLF itself.
It
The
was
first time I
BLF,
met
that's
Mr.
right.
Naveen.
I can't talk about BLF. It hurts me to talk about BLF.
Ayushi is an actual OG
Triggering.
fan. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like the kind where, you know, when I stumbled upon it on YouTube, and then I sent it to like every one of my, it's been like, guys,
Wow.
it's this
Before
really
season 2
weird.
also
It
came out,
makes
so
no
she's-
sense.
Wow.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Being like, this is some, and you know, the way I described it was, dude, it's like The Office, but it's not The Office because it's insane and nobody is normal at all in this whole show.
Oh man. I was trying to keep everyone normal, but I really, you know, my whole thing was The Office is everyone's normal, Michael's crazy. And then when Parks and Rec came out, I was like, everyone's crazy and it's no fun. And so I was like a big, like not such a big fan of Parks and Rec, and people would be like, and then, you know, Brooklyn Nine-Nine came out and, you know, people hate me, but I'm like, no, everyone's too crazy over here. So I was like, Office. So in BLF, I was like, I want to keep some normal people, but I think we really had too much fun. And now I don't blame the writers of these other shows. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it must, like, I think eventually you can even see in each episode where it escapes you, like where everything just gets out of hand for you, specifically your character. And that thing where it just breaks down was the joy. Like, I have rewound certain lines that
nice.
you've said, and
Nice.
this is a creepy fangirl moment for me. But yeah, man,
That's so
that
sweet.
show was, it
That's
was
sweet.
niche.
It was niche. It was too niche. That's the problem with everything we've done. It's so niche that it lasts. It has its little golden period, and then people
But
realize.
we're not even talking about like the most niche thing, which Space Boys.
Mm.
Yeah. I think that might have more views than BLF at this moment. But then then there's the viewers on AIB. It's complicated. Yeah, Starboy is probably more niche. Yeah.
Starboy, sorry. Oh my god, wow, I'm an actual fan and I forgot that. But like, here's the thing with Starboys, you had no idea what was going on, but you're just like, I'm here, I'm enjoying this. This is getting weird. The fact that you made an entire thing about, and you turned snacks into criminals, and like, and it was you against, like, you know, like specifically North Indian chart dishes, which like.
Yeah, I know.
And it was so weird. I personally, I think your brand of weird is one of my favorite out there. Like, it's so weird. I love it.
It was fun. I think that's the first time I got to know of you is when Rytasha sent me a video of you eating passion fruit and talking about Robo Rakesh or something like that. It's just got eating passion fruit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Because Tash, remember when I saw it, I was cackling like Robo Rakesh for 3 days. I was like, no. Just walk out of the room. Not normal.
Oh, man.
Again, not normal. But
Yeah.
no, we've been very big fans of everything that you've done and what you write, and that including and up till like obviously Pushpavalli and all the cool stuff, plus
All
your
right.
stand-up special that we did
All right.
What
also see.
really?
Yeah.
Yes, we did. We saw it before you taped when you were doing your trial show.
Yeah. That was a
Yes,
good show
yes.
you guys came for. Yeah.
It
That
So
was
was
much
fun.
really good.
fun. But what I after all of this, even when we were fans of you before, we were like fans of your comedy and your work and stuff. Then eventually, through the very few instances that we have interacted, I just can't stop gushing to Ayushi that what a nice person you are.
That's
Over
true.
and above everything. I don't have to cry. I
Oh,
got
but
Just
you are crying.
shut up and sleep already. Okay, man. Okay.
But don't worry, you don't have to be freaked out by Rytasha crying. It happens a lot on the show. But
No
it's
way.
all
Is she
good.
actually going to?
No,
Happy cry?
no. Yeah, no, because
Was
you're
she
such
happy
a
cry?
nice person.
Oh my goodness.
No.
I can. Listen, I'll cry, dude.
Oh my
Just-
God, Ayushi, it'll just be you left then, who's not cried on air.
No, I can't be put into this corner. of
Listen, you
crying
know
on
what?
it.
I know how to make Ayushi cry. Okay, we have to play this BBC Planet Earth clip of the walruses that make their way up the cliff and then fall off
Oh
because
God.
they get blind. I
What?
cried for that. You haven't seen the BBC
Okay.
Planet Earth clip on Netflix?
Yes, I have. And that is
Yeah.
the kind of stuff that makes any normal person with a heart, i.e. me, cry. But
Yeah.
why you gotta do that to me now, man?
I just like, how else are you going to join us in this crying
In the
moment,
cry
you know?
circle. Anyway, it's
If you
over,
want
guys.
happy
It's
cry
past.
will make you sad cry. Yeah.
I'm happy.
But it's
Oh,
true. I
I'm
mean,
thinking
Tash
further.
Tash is a huge fan of you as a human person. Anytime she texts me, is like, oh, Naveen did this and he helped out Natasha when you did that thing for
Oh, yeah.
Sakshi,
That was
and you
fun.
helped her out over there. That was she was so appreciative, and the entire time that she sent it, I was like, dude, of course he is. Like, of course. Like, this makes sense.
It's a lesson for
Okay, that's
in
nice.
humility for me also, and just to be like a well prepared, like I just figure you're just such a hardworking person. Even if you have to do like something simple, you put a lot of prep into it.
Yeah, that's one of my things is every time I hear something about being lazy, I'm like, is that me? And I'm like, no, you sleep sometimes, but you're not that bad. But then the next time something about a sluggard comes along, I'm like, is it me? But I wish I could take one.
That's something like, okay, well, let's actually discuss that a little bit. The fact that you try to approach everything big or small, is that something that you've developed, or have you always been that kind of person who does like you over deliver because you're just like, no, I'm a super keen person, I want to get it done? Because other people develop it as they grow up.
Oh, well, no, I'm thinking right from the beginning of our YouTube channel, I think the standard of quality earlier, because I had friends, and these are my school friends that we started all this with. I'm like, if it isn't funny to each other, then it's not worth putting up. So then we'll put in all the effort that we can. Because, in our heads, I think there's also some pride that comes in our heads. We're like, listen, we're creating some genius stuff here. So it better, the world's going to be judging, and we put it out and then no one sees it. But we're like, okay, this next one, people are really going to, we don't want to be judged by our past. Let's put and then after a while, when the Snapchat and all came along and it was just maybe 2,000 views and stuff, I realized, well, relatively 2,000 is less. But I'm like, these are 2,000 people and I have to picture 2,000 people in front of me. I'm like, that's almost a stadium's worth of people. And if I had to stand in front of them for 15 seconds, I would make sure it was worth it. So then I had to picture it like that. So that's how I picture these numbers, which could otherwise seem, yeah.
Hey, I think, Rytasha, you and I should do that with the show.
Put in more
Put in
effort.
some work.
Yes, no, I agree wholeheartedly. I agree.
But I do think that's like, I think that's the right way of approaching something, because it's more kind of process driven, not so much result driven. It's just, you have to do what's right by you. It doesn't really matter how it's received at the end, and if it's good, it will be appreciated, and if it's not, then it just hasn't been seen yet.
Yeah.
Can you hear it back yourself? Like that was one of our standard things. We used to, I mean, it's really maybe not healthy, but as a group, and we used to do stuff, we'll be like, we'll make something that we'll want to watch again for 10, 20 years or whatever. And we used to really consume our own. But everybody does that, whether it's good or bad. I realize that everybody likes to watch their own stuff. So, I don't know if that's a standard.
I think Dash, like you've done enough, like you've done like small stuff, like when you do all your little character actors and stuff like that, and you approach it very differently. Whenever I've recorded you doing something or watched you, you've always been like, no, I'm just going to do what feels natural in the minute. I'm just going to do like what's coming right now is what's coming. Like that's it. And you just put it out there. It's good.
I used to really trust my instinct and spontaneity, but over time now I've grown to like question it also. Earlier, when there were only a niche audience of my friends and family and people who had organically found my videos funny. This is like 4-5 years ago, before doing 15 seconds became funny on Instagram. It was a niche audience, and then as the audience grew, I became a bit fearful and just a bit also, then I can't be as spontaneous as I would want to be, because I can't be the funny I would be in a room with you alone, Ayushi, that I would be on. How do you navigate that actually? Yeah, I want to ask you this, Naveen. Can you be the same funny with your innermost circle and the same funny in a public place, in a performative this entertainment, whatever the work we do?
Yeah, the spontaneity, man. One thing with let's say you've found a little genre and a little knick-knack kind of video, and you've been doing it for a while, and you're like, your audience grows. I've applied this as like, I'm going to quit before the audience quits on me, or before the first person. It's like, okay, that same shtick. I'm like, no, I'm going to get out before you guys figure it out. And you'll know, when you're improvising something and it's just not as fun as it used to be like a year ago. So then you're like, all right, let's stop doing this. And it's going to get scary for a little while where you're like, should I go back to it? Now then wait for the next little thing to come along, and you got to trust yourself. And it has to be a little bit evolved in some way, a little bit maybe, yeah. So they don't catch you.
I think that's
Rytasha stuck. Yeah.
No, it's interesting because you said, like, for context, we always wanted to do stuff together. This is Tash and I.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we also want to do stuff work with you. That we also never mind. But
yes,
Tash and I have talked about this before, and before we started doing the show and even writing stuff, doing silly stuff on Instagram, we always used to think that each other was the funniest person. We were like, together, come on, dude, like, why wouldn't people pay to watch this? Like, we should sell. In the 10th grade, we were standing in front of class doing stupid dances, thinking, this is it. This is the life.
Yep.
And this was before it was cool or profitable or fun to make a fool of yourself on the internet. Right? This is a little bit before that. And we used to think that if we could just tape our conversations and people could hear those, they would think we're the funniest / smartest people ever. And that's essentially what we've done with the podcast.
But I don't think people think we are the funniest or smartest
exactly.
people ever. Because there's no prep from my end. Let me be properly distant from the mic. I feel I'm shouting.
No, it's not about shouting. It's like, I agree with you that at some point, once we started talking and having a discussion, and we started getting into slightly more real discussions, or the more meat part of it, or talking about life and feelings and stages of where you're at, a lot of that stuff started becoming so real that I feel somewhere along the line, we stopped being consistently funny or consistently silly. Like, we used to be very silly, when we were just talking to each other. We used to be so silly. And now with the show, and I don't know whether that's because of the environment or whether that's because you suddenly feel like you have a responsibility to listeners.
Yeah, you have a responsibility to entertain them. That's because they're giving you their time. So you're like, let us give them what nobody else can. And yes, life experience. So that's the thing, with funny people, is okay. For instance, the writers of The Office or any one of these shows that we adore. I bet they were funny, around their friends. That show Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
Those kids, the geek kids. They were ridiculously funny around each other and all of that stuff. And I think that Judd Apatow would have been, he was one of those geeks. But then one day he got out and he was like, I'm gonna organize these thoughts, organize my funniness, and put some backing and some sweat and tears into this, and then come out with something. So that's the thing. That's the work that I think genuinely funny, and people, if they just put one more effort into it, they'll be tripping on their own stuff like 10 times harder.
Writing this down to organize my funny.
I don't know, man. I mean, that like Star Boys is that example. It's like Kenny and I would have so much fun just being around each other. So during the day, I would write BLF. And I remember I would like cycle over to Kenny's studio in the evening and, write Star Boys. So in the day, BLF is me and my school friend, and we were like really racking our brains, and it was hard work writing BLF. My goodness, it took like 10 months. And then with Kenny, it felt like it was just diarrhea in a fun way. It was just like, just whatever came, and we'd be laughing with tears in our eyes. And at any time we doubted, man, will anyone get this? I'm like, look at the tears. This is the proof. These are happy tears. It goes in. This is honest. Yeah.
Sorry, like you were very honest and vulnerable there, but all I'm picturing is you cycling from one place to another. I don't know why, but I have this idea of like a little Malgudi Tales kind of Naveen cycling.
Yeah.
Going from one ride to job.
Yeah. That was fun. That was fun because you had no choice. But yeah, I have my contest. I think I had my contest. I had money for the petrol, so I would cycle sometimes. Yeah. I have a weird life. I had the coolest car in town, but because my dad wouldn't. He's like, no bikes, it's too dangerous. So he got me a car for the price of a bike. So my car cost like $50,000. So, but then it had the mileage of an old car. So it was a conundrum. So I'd cycle and keep the car for special occasions.
It's good for health to cycle.
Yeah. Anywho.
I have to ask you, Naveen, because you have creatively created many things. The push you give yourself, or the push that comes like when you work with friends, for example, like you said, writing BLF was a hard process, 10 months. I keep thinking, I want to write something. Ayushi and I keep thinking we should write something and we should make a show. But this is we should we've been talking about for many months and years.
Yeah.
How does it, what is the moment when the action begins?
Yeah. Help us. You know what? Actually, no, write our show.
I don't mind, to be honest, writing someone else's show is way more fun and way less stressful than, because we should have mentioned we don't have money. See, that's also okay if the values are right, if it's a good family-friendly show and stuff like that. I mean, I know it sounds very ironic coming from me after the stuff I've done, but this is just me now. But anyway, but if it's a family-friendly show and all of that, I don't mind, man. Because it's hard, man. I mean, I'm sitting here and there's not many people to jam with. And I'm just like, because back when I wrote Star Boys, when the Star Boys came along, Sumuki and I, we were writing a sketch show, and Kenny calls. And he was like, Macha, you have to write. You have to write. We have to read the script I sent you right now. And I opened a Gmail and he sent me this 2-page script. And it was the most funny thing I've ever read. And it was great. He's taken some of the responsibility and the weight of making the show. And I just have to write. And even Pushpavalli was like that. All the weight is on her shoulders. I just have to come in and do the arranging. Yeah.
So if
you we will call you in for arranging for sure whenever the day comes. Going
back to Tasha's question, which I think is valid, like how do you know that you found that thing where now you actually got to sit down
this is a good enough idea to really develop.
This is good enough, right? Because we get stuck at that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of ideas. That's where I'm at now, and I would ask myself this question. how do you know that this is good enough? I guess, there was a golden age where people buying the shows would just buy the show based on, if it was just genuinely funny. Now, though, I think you got to have a balance between what we really want to watch and maybe what the audience wants to watch. So is it catchy enough as an idea? Does it have that hook? Sometimes, when two quirky, fun people, I can't say quirky, that's disgusting. Anyway, when two fun people get together, they get so caught up in the idea that it becomes too niche for the rest of the world. So you got to filter that out and see, okay, does it have a hook that the world will bite? That's a good balance.
Yeah, I think so. No, definitely. Ayushi?
I think that does actually speak to, I think that does speak to something that you and I have, like, even the ideas that you and I have toyed with. At the end of the day, we tried to create characters. We started with this, we're like, okay, let's pick like 4 girls that we want to write about their lives or something. And then we've written little character descriptions of each one of them. But I think we got so into creating characters for them, or specifically I did, where I started making up these little individual worlds for each one of them. I gave each one of them a vice, a strength. I turned one into an alcoholic. Like, as in, there was all sorts of stuff that I was doing. And then I realized, I was like, hold up. I just have gotten too invested with these girls that now they're me. They're just me in different versions. I don't know whether other people will like this character or other people will relate to this girl as a person, because actually she's just 1/4 of me in some weird new shape. So I don't,
that's inevitable-ish, but if you base your characters on people that you know other than yourself, so it's inevitable that one of your characters can end up being some version of you. That's kind of been the case. And then the other characters, you keep a strong, like, no, this character is this person that I know, and I know this person well, and would this person do this in that situation?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So then the question we have to ask you is, out of all your characters, which one is you?
That's hard.
Why don't we take a break, Naveen? You can think about it until then.
I really want it to be Kaju. I just need it to be Kaju.
Nah, I'm good with kids. I'm sorry. I'm pretty good with kids.
Actually, my thing with Kaju is his wardrobe. I just love his shorts.
That part is me. Yes, that part was me. Yes, now I'm more into checks and balances. So that way I'm Uncle Francis. Sorry, it's a break time.
Okay, then see you on the other side, friends. Hello, welcome back.
I don't know what ad you thought, but whichever one it was, please go to that product.
But always, okay.
No,
we are in conversation with Naveen Richard. Okay.
Jesus, Tash, that was so loud.
I didn't mean to shout it.
I think you did. It was like a intentional shout.
It's so difficult to balance the light that's coming in through the window, the distance from mouth to mic, my knees, which are kind of hitting against the table legs. Sorry.
It is a lot in terms of the struggle that everyone is having worldwide, nationwide.
There's no need to do this. There's no need to do this. Shudel.
Just was diminishing your pain. Okay. But welcome back. As you know, we have Naveen Richard with us. It's spectacular. So, Naveen, when we asked you to be on the show and we gave you a couple of episode topics, none of them really tickled your fancy. However, you reverted with...
Oh, no. You're going to make it sound like my idea? Great.
Oh, no.
No, you reverted with something that we want to, that we talk about on the daily anyway.
Yeah.
Which is
the real theme of this podcast.
Which is the general struggling with adulthood, the existential crisis that we do face from time to time. And it is kind of cool to think that people who seem to, at least I'm not saying that you don't, but I'm saying someone who seems to have a stable, successful career also has the same thoughts across their head that also freak them out or cause them some level of anxiety, because we keep saying that we're trying to figure it out, we're not at a stable place yet. And that's why we have doubts about, morality or whether you want to have kids, whether you want to settle down,
everything
whether you want
has
to get
changed.
married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
new way of living where we are so woke and we are also so ambitious and we're so driven and we're also, I think, so disconnected from reality.
Yeah,
Sorry, that's just
yeah,
my 2 cents.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Yes.
What is that thing that we said, Dash, that line? I said, we'll achieve and we'll enjoy.
You
Right?
know, and now I've come here, so I've spent a month in the mountains, listeners. Now you know it's been a secret trip until now, but the cat's out of the mountain bag. Um, yeah, I don't really now. I've come to a point where I don't know if you can have everything.
But didn't we say this on one of the older episodes where I think it was one, I think we were specifically talking about it in a more female way where we were like,
No,
oh,
yeah.
women.
But I mean,
But I think we did say it at that time also that I think it's okay to admit that you can't have it all.
what did you say about achieving and enjoying? Yeah, tell me again. Sorry.
I think this is a little, we were being shady. We were making fun of people who were being very much extra woke on the internet, which is on
Yeah,
personal
yeah,
basis we were discussing. And we
yeah,
said
yeah,
that don't worry, we will achieve and we will enjoy, in the sense to kind of make us feel better that, maybe we're not doing enough. Sorry, let me rephrase this. Sometimes I think Tash and I, all speak for myself, but I know this that crosses our mind as well. We sometimes feel a little bit of guilt that we are ambitious, and sometimes you feel guilty for being ambitious because you feel like you have to give back to society as part of your growth as an adult now. Like, it's not okay to just be ambitious in a more capitalist or monetary way, which was something that was so okay for our parents to be there. Like, their function was, no, you have to get a good job, you have to earn money, get married, provide, etc., etc. And look, we are products of that. But something that Tash and I keep feeling, because of the way that things have become, the new environment on, like, whether it's social media or reality, frankly, you kind of feel that your achievement and your ambition has to include social causes or social justice. And if you don't necessarily give back in a public way or in a very generic way, you land up feeling bad, you land up feeling a bit guilty, and then you're like, I need to restructure the way I look at ambition and the way that I need to further myself in life. And that's frustrating. That, I think, that really frustrates me sometimes.
yeah. Ambition is quite deadly, and I wouldn't recommend it for yourself. And when you talked about your parents, I was like, our parents, they wanted to earn and all of those things, and they had those goals while they had us. So they weren't really thinking about themselves. They were like, what can we do to get our children the best thing? But we're sitting here and we're like ambitioning it out for ourselves, and we're never gonna get to because the more time this generation sits around thinking inward, thinking about themselves. Our parents didn't have time to do that. They were thinking about everybody, well, the children, and so they didn't have time to sit and think inward and then get full of themselves and like get sensitive about every little thing. So I think that's the problem. It's so ambitious, we stop thinking about anyone else. That's one problem with it, at least.
I think,
that didn't make me feel better.
No, I think it comes down to, because also now with privilege, for example, the parents that did provide XYZ for their children and gave them a certain level of privilege where you don't have to provide for anybody else right now. You can only live life for yourself, like I am doing right now. I don't have mouths to feed. So yeah, this, what you said, I felt attacked momentarily because I was like, yeah, I do have a lot of time to just be inward and think so much, and it's really a luxury to sit and get sensitive about every little thing.
Yeah, all of us.
Whoever's not watching
All
this,
of us.
Rytasha is literally pointing at her.
Aggressively pointing, all fingers.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say, even though everything, we're like mental health, we're talking about all these things and we think that we're getting healthier. We're not actually getting healthier. And it's evident, but I don't know if we're in denial about it. We think, no, more of this. No, more of this path that we're on. I think that's what's missing. More inward thinking. Now, I'm not going to find anything good that deep, and it's just going to be trouble. So focus your attention on other people.
When
honestly,
did this happen? Like, have you had this change over recently? Is this a realization you've come to?
Yeah, well, it was a realization I had a few 2-3 years ago, but I wasn't able to apply it to myself. I was still constantly restless, and no matter what came along, and even though I'd achieved more than I would have expected when I was 18 or something, and I'm like restless because there's someone always doing a little bit more, seemingly doing something cooler, and no amount of accolade was filling it. The usual stuff that people write in their biographies or whatever. All of that stuff was true. It was just not cutting it. And I'm like, oh, come on, man, where is this peace or whatever? So, and like most of us, I seeked.
Sought.
Sought. Thanks, Rytasha.
I
Thanks.
sucked peace.
I just love it.
Oh,
Why
man.
not?
Yeah, man, I looked high and low, even in the mountains. And I think I was like, yeah, the closest it comes to is just going on a hike for myself,
Yeah.
I think. But even then, like a year ago, I went to Chitkul or something, okay? Because my manager, he was getting fried with work. And he's like, dude, I need you to take me to the mountains. So he saw my calendar was empty because he's my manager. And he's like, you're coming with me. So then we went. And even on that, man, I've got my freaking phone out trying to make stuff. And I'm like, just stop. All right. You're not even going to use this. Just stop. And I was like, and this needs to stop. So where can I be secure? But anyway, last year I found that thing. And so it's been good since then. So yeah. It's been, well, my life's quite different now than it was 2 years ago. Yeah. A year ago.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the pandemic.
I honestly don't think anyone could answer that question. Like, you can't say that your life has not changed in the last 1 year. If it hasn't, I'm gonna go out and say there's something wrong with you, that you have not had any sort of development somewhere, whether it's mental, physical, internal, external, in the last 1 year. But I like this thing of like, you're not going to find too much good stuff if you keep going inward, because I think it lines up with my like mentality that I've had throughout Tash, which is like, I don't want to get too in touch with my feelings because it only leads to disaster.
I think you are extrapolating a different lesson from this.
Yeah, but see, I'm selfish, so I'm doing that.
Yeah, but what I thought what makes sense to me from what we just spoke about is that this whole inwardness and thinking and spending so much time with one's thoughts, I think it actually removes you from the present moment. And anyway, I think so much of our generation is removed from the present moment because either we're worried about the future or we're thinking about, or we're in a virtual world. Like, I don't know. I mean, can't speak for everybody, but I think being truly present is missing across the board.
But what does it mean to be truly present? What I actually want to know.
I'll tell you, and I feel like this is it. Like when you're walking uphill, you're focused on breathing, for example.
Yeah.
What else are you worrying about? Oh, मैंने gas on रखा, मैंने उसको ये वो boyfriend ने मेरा ये किया वो, like I don't know. Like you will fall, you will trip over a rock if you do this. If your brain is going idhar udhar.
Yeah, but I think it's, look.
But what about when you're not walking uphill and you don't? I agree with you, and that's why I like hiking. But what about when you're not walking uphill?
So to find that quality in what is it to be?
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
Really?
I agree.
It seems simple enough, but listen, all of these man-made philosophies about, all right, well, this is it. I'm like, all right, well, let's see the man who came up with this, and did he die happy or did he die like I'm not too sure though. I don't know if that was it. So we follow, and that's the thing, when I was going out seeking, I was like, all right, man, listen, I can see my friends, they have way more. Well, their savings account is much more than me. I have enough, but I'm like, they have much more. And I'm like, they are still not satisfied, and they are still like, messed up in the head, maybe even more than me. And people coming up are like eager for that, and I'm sitting in the middle, and I'm like, so then I would get into some philosophies. Let's say maybe Alan Watts something by getting into. I mean, let's watch a couple of videos on YouTube, and you're like, all right, this is it. I don't know what this is, you know what? I'm going to apply this steadfastly in my approach to life. And a week later, not even a week, hours later, you're restless again because you can't count on atoms. So like, are you sure? What if he was wrong? And the problem with these philosophers and all is that, we, at the height of their career, they get famous. And then who knows what happened to them. So we're following these guys at the height. And like when they were fully tripping and everyone's, but then we don't know what happened in the end. So stop following those guys. Yeah.
That's a valuable lesson also, because I often turn to self-help.
There was I don't have a contribution here. I won't
Like
say
nothing is the way. This is it. No, like you can't take somebody's word for it. You just have to figure it out for yourself, I suppose.
No. That would be cruel. That would be cruel if that was the way that life had to be lived. I mean, I have found that thing, and I know it'll seem presumptuous, and you're like, oh, Naveen, how are you sure? You're not dead yet.
No, please tell us.
Call me
We want
5
to
minutes
know.
before you die. That might be a personal conversation I would have to have with each one of you. Or, well, it basically it's a crazy story, to be honest. I haven't spoken about it publicly or not, but it's a crazy story. And it is not at all what you will expect. But I can say confidently, and I'm willing to put my name to it and my life to it. I'm like, nope, I found that thing that I was looking for. It found me. No, I found it. And life hasn't been the same. I haven't been restless. I've stopped working as hard, but things are still going. And there's joy and peace, like I was looking for it for a long time. So, but it is a crazy story, It is a crazy,
Will you tell us
wonderful
offline?
story. I would love to tell you. I would love to tell you.
Okay. Because I also want.
I know. It's some, the thing is, we go around this world and everything that we hear from each other is the stuff that we want to hear, but not what we need to hear. None of the hard pills to swallow kind of stuff. And I think it was Kanis who told me this a while ago. She said her dad had this. He's like, if you have to go down two paths, choose the path that's harder. That's probably the right one. So I began to apply that a little bit. I'm not saying that was the answer, but I'm saying that when it comes to these life questions, sometimes it's the harder path and it's not the easier one, the one that we can massage our hearts and be like, everything's going to be fine if we just believe in ourselves and be yourself. Now ourselves are quite damaged. And here's
100%.
Yeah.
You go, girl.
I had this one rather realization, a few months ago, which is, again, I'll ask you guys this question. Do you guys think the world is a pretty good place with some messed up damage and some evil, or is it like mostly damaged and messed up with some good in it?
No, the former.
I think it's a good place.
You think it's a good place? Okay. So
no.
I think,
Are we wrong?
no, I know. No. But you tell me after I tell you this one analogy is, that's how the world says it is. And that's how, all our shows says it is, and our government says it is. And I say, okay, we'll walk into like a hypermarket or whatever, there's the orange buying aisle, and there's the fish aisle, and there's the masalas aisle and everything. And you just take a look around and you see all of these people and you ask, well, okay, how many of these people are coming from, let's say, a broken home? Okay. And you say, okay, how many people are causing the breakingness in their home? How many of these people are, well, let's say, sexually molested growing up? How many of these people are the ones molesting? How many of these people are in an abusive relationship? How many abuse, and so on and on? And how many of them are, let's say, something, less, whatever, hard. Let's say something like, how many people take advantage of others and use them, and how many of these people are used, even just in a work-life balance? And they're all damaged inside, but you see them, they're going and buying oranges and bananas, like everything is fine. And then you realize, wait, everybody here is messed up and seeking and pretending like everything's okay. And I say, well, that's the same with the world as well. The whole world is full of these people. And I'm like, okay, fine, it's full of these people, but stop acting like everything's okay and stop distracting. And, but basically just stop acting like everything's okay, world. And everyone acts like they figure it out. Even the government's like, yes, democracy, yes. this is it. We figured it out. No, hasn't. Not really though. Stop pretending. Yeah. So yeah, so everyone's just trying to get by.
Yeah. I think you're right about the fact that too much introspection, and I'm again, Ritasha's gonna say I'm taking very self-serving purpose like lessons from what you're saying, but okay, that's what I've heard, so whatever.
Yeah.
But it's more like I really do feel that personally, the more I sit down to analyze, oh, like, why am I feeling this way? Why is this my reaction to it? Why am I you know, what should have been my approach? How should I have done this instead? I keep, and this is coming from someone who's never asked herself these questions for a really long time. So for me, growth and therapy and like advancement as an adult involved doing these things of like taking cognizance of your feelings and taking ownership of your emotions and why you're feeling that way and addressing them, because suppressing them causes you flare-ups once every 3 months, which isn't healthy. So in this process of the last 2 years where I've been doing this, and Dash has been saying, I've been saying it on the show, yes, I've seen progress in my behavior, but actually the situations in where I feel like there was real resolution is when I ask myself the question, is what I'm going to say going to affect that other person? Is it really going to make that person's life better, worse? Is it going to upset them further? Is it going to help them? Is it going to trigger them? And the minute I remove myself from that situation and I don't keep asking myself how is this going to make me feel like I have a better response. And to me, that goes back to what you said Kanis told you, which is about choosing the harder path. Because if I'm just to ask myself, oh, what's going to make me feel good right now to end this conversation with that, or that end that argument or end that thing, but really that's the easy thing. The harder thing to do is to ask, is it going to affect that other person in any way? Is it going to bring joy or pain or peace or closure to the other person? And I don't know, I agree with your thing of the more you look inwards, I think the more you like, it doesn't take you anywhere. I just don't think it takes you to a place of fulfillment or peace. And which is why I've struggled a lot with this, not new age idea, but this kind of new wave that we have of getting to know yourself, of like, no, but you must get in touch with yourself. You must know where you are and what your core is. And I'm not saying that I'm a shitty person, but I don't really want to sit down to get to know myself so much also. I'll see how it goes.
I have
I'll
a
react.
question though. Between the pretending that everything is okay, which we all do on many levels in different situations every day, between that of like, oh, everything's fine, and
Wallowing.
that, yeah, like
So no, I'm not saying you gotta all wallow. Anyway, I think that the root cause of a lot of these things is pride. I think when you filter it all down and all down and all down, and I think
which is a deadly sin after all, as they say.
No, it literally is. When you filter it all out, even the nicest person that you meet will, if they're really honest, say they suffer from pride. And when I look at the times that I'm like, come on, man, it's probably something from pride, where they try to advise someone who didn't ask for it, or with all the best intentions. And in so many situations, it's pride. If instead you can just be like, if you can just take the lower position in every situation, if you're secure with yourself, even if you're not, none of us are fully, but if you can just take the lower position and try to serve whoever you're with, whether they need serving or not, but you just go in with that position, you'll stop making the kind of mistakes and cringing yourself out and all of those things. Hopefully.
I think that's a good takeaway, because I think that ties kind of into it reminds me of not reminds me, it sounds like ego, which is
ego. I think ego, pride, similar, they live
cousins.
in the same siblings, not even cousins, they're siblings. So do you think that this kind of, I'm not trivializing anything that you've said in terms of your realization, but like this enlightenment that you found in the last couple of months, or this peace that you found, Richard, do you think that's gonna have you found a way to keep a control on it so it's consistent, or do you feel like the minute we go back to what we're hoping is like old life or normal life or this post-COVID thing, you think it's gonna like fizzle and like kind of get all crazy and bubble out of it?
No, it's not coming from me. The peace isn't coming from me. I'll break it down. It's coming from God. Okay, so and it's coming from God, and so I'm not relying on myself for the peace and the joy. I have just gotten to know Him, and I have seen some incredible supernatural things which I think the current world would dismiss as, man, it's a coincidence. I live my whole life seeing these coincidences and these little things, right? And I would try to point it out to my friends, and they'd be like, some of them will be like, man, Naveen, you just overthink and you read into these situations, and that would make me feel like, am I crazy, or is there something? And then there's people who'd say, no, man, there's something there. They don't know what. And the recent past, it's only compounded ever since I've accepted God and I've got to know Him. And I'm like, oh man, it was so close. It was so close, but not God in our own terms. It's God in God's terms. But anyway, yeah.
That's good. I think like having.
You weren't expecting. Yeah.
No, actually,
I'm with you because
Yeah, I
recently,
think-
like I'm also on this kind of, I won't say God because I don't know but I mean like a godlike energy. So I've been in that space also. Is my audio okay?
Yeah.
It came back. It came back for a second. It went for a second.
So I've been reading the autobiography of a yogi, and it's very like supernatural things have happened, and this guy has written accounts about every single thing that he's experienced in his whole life of seeking and learning from his master, and then eventual realization and all of that. Yeah, I like it.
But it's good. I think
I'm
like
into it.
you like what's impressive from both of like what you both said is more that you found sort of a place to rest your belief or rest your faith, right? When you're able to put it down at the feet of XYZ and you're like, okay, it's here. That's my stability. That's my mooring point. That's my anchor. Then situationally, you are able to navigate it so much better because you're tethered to something. And I think that's kind of the root of why people gravitate to, and I'm not equating God with religion because I think you can separate those. I'm saying that a lot of people tend to go towards things like religion and faith is because it tethers you, it connects you to something, whether it's a community or a higher power. It just stabilizes you in some way, and that's nice to be able to find it at whatever age and to not to kind of own that for yourself. I think that's really nice.
Yeah,
that's
there's a difference, I guess, between there's coping mechanism type of, I guess, religion, which should involve, coping mechanism. If you really do the same thing over and over again, and you tell yourself, if I do these things, it's going to be fine. And then there's something real where you can talk to God and hear from Him and things like that. And so that's kind of what happened to me, where I finally heard Him. And I was like, and it was the most beautiful experience. And I'm like, it's, no one can ever say, I mean, were you sure you're not imagining that? Anyway.
You know what? It happened to you, we believe.
No.
Yeah.
This is not us. This is not us looking at you being like, oh, we brought a gardener into the show. No. We believe.
I think
I know.
have faith and to actually like tap into this magic beyond the cells and like beyond what we feel as matter, there is a whole universe out there. And if you had like a brush with that, I'm just like jealous of you, that you had some.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll talk about, and I'll tell you what happened, and I'm happy to share over here, but I don't want it to become
that's all right
or something. But anyway, the thing is, finally, I guess, even if it is God, then are you finally using God to again serve your own purposes? That's the thing. Or are you serving God now to serve Him?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean serve Him as in now you become a priest. No, but serve Him in the way that He asks you to. So that way, because otherwise that becomes dangerous. Then we go about living our life prideful and all of that stuff. And
this, Naveen, obviously you won't get this reference, but Tash, you've met Sarah, right? And she's a
She's friend from college. FY everybody.
Sorry.
Continue.
So she's a very, very, she's one of my best friends, but she's a very religious person. And she's like into organized religion, Christianity. And I couldn't understand a lot of times her faith to the practices of reading the Bible or going to church, because she still led a very normal young life of,
Debauchery and fun.
Yeah, debauchery and fun. And we all indulge in our vices and we did silly things. And so sometimes I would ask her, it's like, how do you balance this? Because again, when you're younger, you have such a one-dimensional idea of what God, faith, religion is. If you're religious, you shouldn't do XYZ. Like that's the way that you experience it. But I think even at a younger age, and something that's endured with her now, which I find so I'm able to respect it above all, is that she always says, it's like I live as if God is working through me. So if in a situation I'm asked, like, how am I supposed to interact? It's not about what serves me. In this situation, what would serve God? And she makes decisions in that way. And so often I see her practice a very outward altruistic kindness, which I'm like, oh, wow, kid, that was really nice of you, what she did. And without even thinking, and I know she's not doing it there's no one else there. It's us. We're having a conversation. And it's so often she's just like, you know what? It's a Christian thing to do. And I was like, okay, that's like, and that to me, that genuinely to me, and I hope, whoever's listening doesn't judge me, but that to me was seeing God in action, because it was working through her. She worked through Sarah, or through Sarah's faith. And I like that. So
That's
I think
exactly the point of Christianity. So, well, I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I found God in a Bible verse. Okay. That's how I found him too. So I am a Christian, and the whole point of Christianity is to just be more like Jesus. That's the whole, because otherwise, if you're like, I'm going to be like this preacher, or I'm going to be like that man who speaks about God, or even this great man of God, or this NGO worker, they're imperfect, because you'll follow him till suddenly one day you realize, oh shit, did he do that? So you don't try to replicate that person, you replicate the person who was perfect. Yeah. And you replicate Jesus, who was there to serve. He even though he was God, he would wash people's feet and show them that that's the whole point of this life, is to serve and be there to serve people and to remove all pride. And so
that's
this
oh
is
my
so
God.
good. This really does remind me of the way Sarah used to talk about things, and that's lovely. She's gonna like this episode. I'm gonna tell her.
It reminds me of a part in the book also, where the guy is like, oh, I don't want to spend time cleaning, and all I need to meditate and spend my hours, getting closer to God. And his guru was like, nah, mate, you gotta clean, you gotta do all the daily activities, you gotta do everything that you gotta do, and then you will find God through everything that you do, in everything that you do.
But this, the fact that you're talking about it this way, another, I think, something that I think our older generation, and this, not to take away from this conversation, but it just came to me, is that a lot of times I think our parents' generation equated hard work with being faithful, or being part of, like, doing your duty towards your faith or your religion, and like making sure that you're providing for your spouse, making sure that you have a prosperous industry, and then you're creating employment, whatever it is. Like, I'll give you an example. My dad, he is a Hindu, obviously, and he says, he's like, I'm a Hindu. And oftentimes I ask him, what does it mean to be a Hindu? He's like, honestly, because I've always asked him, I was like, in this thing of everyone getting so Hindu, the idea of it has changed so much in the last couple of years. I was like, how do you still hold on to that? And he was like, well, to me, being a Hindu means being a good husband, being a good son, doing right by my family, doing right by my company, my employees, because they are my responsibility, and making sure that I leave a lasting good enough space on this earth when I leave, like leaving good energy when I leave. And I like that because it was quite an unselfish way to relate to the faith. And then I realized, I was like, actually, a lot of the way that people related with faith was just about working hard and doing the right thing, like to constantly choose to do the right thing, even if it was the harder thing to do. That actually is like the most pure level of faith in so many different religions, was just doing the right thing. And more often than not, doing the right thing was doing the hard thing. And when
Then
you
if-
did that, you worked through
Yeah.
it.
So then if you had to apply that to morality, for instance, then you wouldn't be making a lot of, I mean, I wouldn't have made a lot of the decisions that I did, that, that God wouldn't have wanted me to. And I was like, nah, man. And that's the problem I realized with the way we have been living our life. This generation, I guess, has been living, is we get so swept up with the trend, the good and the bad. And and in the dark, you can't tell which ones are good and which ones are bad.
And
so you need the light of the Lord to kind of shine on it and differentiate.
That's nice, man. I'm
praise. This is okay, listeners. This light can be from any Lord. Just find it.
correct. Sahi. Means
Even
wherever
don't
you
have
find
to.
the light. Wherever you find the light. But this
But do you
is
think
So
this is
yeah,
something?
man. Yeah. But I mean, one of the things I guess we were going to talk about, I guess, is that thing about how was it fine the way I lived, and I don't think the relationships and the dating and all of that stuff. I'm like, man, I mean, I came out damaged. I damaged someone else, and for whom? For themselves and for the person they're eventually actually going to settle down with. And I feel like I took a little bit of them away for that person that they would have settled down with.
Oh my God,
So I
yeah.
feel
If you look at it this way, though, then yeah, big time. I was like,
oh no, I have robbed a fair amount
moralistically,
of
I would
people.
not have made half the decisions that I made. Moral.
But I'm not trying to just put a positive spin on everything, but I do think a lot of that also is just age. Like when
Part of
you
growing
are
up,
younger
yeah.
and growing up, you make certain mistakes. And I do think some mistakes were not made in conscious malice. They're not made with like the intention of robbing my current spouse's future spouse of some wholesomeness, which I have now robbed from this guy.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So that's why we don't rely on ourselves again. And we're like, let's see who figured it out. Did you guys figure it out in the past? Okay, what was it? Oh, all that stuff I was just going to do. Okay, why not do it, I guess. But yes, of course, we're going to make those mistakes.
Yeah.
But I realized that there's a reason some of this stuff, not everything, but yeah, some of this stuff was there. Yeah.
That's
So,
true.
Thank you for sharing all this with us, Naveen.
Yeah,
I feel like this is like a side of you which I don't think we've got to talk about, hear about, know about
and
ever.
it just creates so much depth again. I'm just still a fan,
Behind this funny person is a deeply
yeah, I mean, I wasn't always. I mean, I think back then I believed in God, but on my own terms, as we all do, pray when we want something, need something, when we're in trouble, when we're in a pit, and never bothering to ask God, well, what do you want me to do? Well, this feels right. What do you want me to do? So now I'm like, okay, I'm done trying to figure out the world and use my own wisdom. In the Bible, there's this verse. It says, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. So you start there, because the beginning of wisdom, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. Because, when we use our human intelligence, wisdom, it's weighed down by our egos and our fleshly desires. So every time we try to reach, let's say this is the truth, and every time we're trying to reach the truth, we get pulled back because, our fleshly desires, our ego, it just doesn't. But you start from outside of this, from where the truth comes. The truth comes from God. So you start believing in God, and then you work your way into the system. And then you start seeing everything for what it truly is, and not from the world's perspective. Then you realize, then that's when you start going to the hypermarket and realize how broken everyone is. And it's not bad. It doesn't depress you. It just makes you feel, feel for them and pray for them.
Yeah, that's all you can do. My therapist told me also, you can't change anybody. You pray for them, but you just pray for them. Don't tell them
And
what
it's not
to
a
do.
coping mechanism. It's not I've seen this happen, and it works. I've seen prayers work incredibly. Yeah.
So, but you gave into your fleshly desire of eating so many bananas in the day.
Yes. I convinced myself it was okay. But there is a lesson to be learned there as well. Yes. There's 3 bananas staring at me right now from that
Oh
corner.
no! Can you do no, I won't tell you to do a banana video now. Make the bananas talk. The talking idlis are some of my faves also.
Oh,
How have we not discussed that? Anyway, no, sorry.
I have saved that video on Instagram. I watch it about once every 3 weeks.
That was Akash. I've got to give to him a lot of these fun things. I'm glad someone took the initiative and just came to me, and I was just able to add whatever I could. And that's
Another amazing person, Akash, who I hope to have him on the show someday. He's Ayushi and I are big fans. Also.
We're big fans of him as well.
We love him.
I think we really like men from the southern parts of this country.
I think we like men who are kind and sensitive and intelligent and funny.
I have a friend named Chandan who's very into Tamil women, and he's Kashmiri, and so he's married a Tamilian. Okay, and I'm like, I speak to him, and he has the heart of a Tamilian. That's the thing. There's something about him, and he can pull off saying "da" like just like anyone else, and
I couldn't.
feel like.
Ayushi, I don't think you can pull off saying "da."
No, Naveen corrected me on text.
Teach us how to do it.
So I said Naveen da, and he was
No,
like,
no, that is Bappi da. That's different. That's in Bengal.
He was like, you have to say da at the end of it. But that's true, because in Bengal, I like, to my colleagues in Calcutta, I say Sanyal da. I say Ashish da, like, because that's the respect.
That is
that
It's da.
It's a dentalized.
Okay, there's no H.
Da. Yeah. There's
no H, first of all. It's da. And I'll tell you how to use it. Okay, this is the context you can use it in. There's an aggressive way, be like, "Hey, what daddy?" This is aggressive, but it can be used to soften the blow of something serious you want to convey to a close friend. So let's say I want to tell Rytasha to turn off the gas. She's my friend, and she's been careless about the gas for the last 1 week. So if I just said, "Rytasha, can you turn off the gas when you leave?" And it's a little, aggressive. But listen to this. You can be like, Macha, Rytasha, can you just turn off the gas there every time you go out? And when you put that da in, it's all right. I try to maintain the same tone, but you put that da in, it's like, put a little love into it. You're like, listen, we're friends, man. So as a friend, I'm just saying, for our own good.
I like Macha a lot. Like my sister-in-law is Telugu, and her mom sometimes used to say Macha, and it was just the sweetest way that she said it. And they went to medical school in Chennai, my cousin and my sister-in-law, and they started saying Macha to each other so much. And when I stayed with them for a while, they called me Macha, and I don't know, it made me feel very safe and small and like a baby that was being taken care of. Like, Macha, don't do like that. And I was like, oh yes, I won't do it like that again.
So many lovely ways to say. I mean, I guess yar is your equivalent.
Oh, no, I was going to say it's like babe. Babe, just turn off the gas when you leave the kitchen. No, that's not how I talk.
No, I wouldn't say that, but I don't know, in Gujarati, I don't know what the word
there is no such word in Gujarati. Gujarati is not about softening any blows.
Dad, in Gujarati, what would you say is like the equivalent of saying da, like Sanyal da or Macha?
It's like bhai, Prakash bhai, Pankaj bhai, Mota bhai.
Like dada.
No.
Eh.
Ayushi Ben.
I don't like Ben.
Listen, if it's not commonly used enough, then it's not a thing.
It's really not a thing. It's not.
If you have to ask your dad.
She just wants to participate. She's trying to get on to the fun.
No, my dad just walked into the room, so I asked him this question.
Love it.
But everybody who edited Star Boys, who were all, Bombay guys, everybody who was in the edit room, not even editing Star Boys, just in the loop, they were editing BLF or something, but then just hearing Da made them So one day Kenny and I walked into the bedroom and everyone's trying to say da, and it was like, yeah, okay, you gotta work on it. You gotta work on it. But it's sweet. It's
You just
sweet of
want
you
to be
all.
the cool kids.
We do. I'm a big fan
I
of
know.
everything.
You say it enough, it'll come.
Okay,
It'll
da.
come to you.
Is
Da,
that
I
right?
need to-
Did she
no.
did that right? When she
No.
says okay, da, no?
No.
There, I think you needed a Macha. Okay, Macha.
Okay, Macha. When
Yeah.
I say I really need to pee now, Macha, that's fine.
Then you start with the Macha, I really need to pee
Macha,
now.
I really need to pee now, da.
Okay.
Yeah. That's nice.
I'm not gonna try to do it. But we should wrap up though. This has been wonderful. But
should.
I do need to pee as well.
Any
I-
parting
Yeah.
wisdom? Not wisdom, sorry. Wisdom is a no. Adulthood lesson. Let's extrapolate adulthood lesson from
Plug the show.
Well, I mean, I have thought of this is, everyone's belief nowadays is like, hey, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Don't. I mean, yes, there's some goodness in you, but there's a lot of crap, jealousy and all sorts. If you were to be yourself, you'd be jealous a lot and coveting a lot, and egoistic a lot. So just serve. Yeah. Try to serve
I want that as my ringtone actually. Scratch the old one.
Don't.
Don't. But I like that one. I like it for different reasons, I think. But I like the one of don't be yourself. Because I think a lot of people are overrated. Yours is a way more wholesome reason for not being yourself. I'm saying don't be yourself because I don't think everyone is that great or that original a piece for them to be themselves. I'll grow.
Yeah.
I'll change.
Thank you for joining us, Naveen. This has been such a lovely episode.
It's like, listen, it's an onion, guys. You're all onions. It's another layer of pride, and there's another. So till you die, you just keep trying to peel it off. You slowly get to the middle.
5 minutes before
I love
we die,
it. To
we'll
the
call
core.
you Naveen.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Macha, you are right about the whole thing. I'm now at the bulb of the onion.
Oh, nice. Lovely, guys. Thank you guys so much for having me.
I love
That
you
was so
all.
nice.
Big
This was
I love you
great.
guys too.
Thank you so much. And you know where to find Naveen, man. We don't have to plug
He's
this
the
dude.
most famous
I'll
of us
see you
all.
on Google Calendar. Google Calendar invite. I'll see you there.
Send Naveen
Okay.
indiscriminate amounts of Google Calendar invites. He really wants to chat.
And thank you all for listening to this episode. If you liked it, obviously, you know what to do. Listen to the rest, share this, tell your friends to listen, whatever you want.
Yeah, but I think this one you should listen.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Why do you say that in the end? Put this in the beginning. They've already listened to it. And now
You're
you're saying this one you should listen.
Okay.
Come on, I think I need to get a job at IVM. Do some management here. You should listen to this, guys. Yeah, we did, bro. Macha,
But
finish.
we hyped you up last week, huh? But in the last week's ending, we were like, we have a damn special guest and all. So
Oh, really? Wow. If I had wow.
And you know,
If I'd
our
eaten
last-
too many bananas and I couldn't make it. Anyway.
You know that I don't speak like that. But in our last episode, it was our crypto episode, which is really good. And Ariman, we didn't say who was going to be on the show, obviously online. But he was like, once we stopped recording, he was like, who do you have next week? I was like, we have Naveen Richard. And he was like,
and he said, wait, he was like, oh my God, loves you and all. And Rahula, the guest, did not know about you. So he was like, who's that? And I was like, only the best stand-up comedian in India.
Same shirt, Sham. And
Oh
like,
my goodness.
He's the guy. And I was like, yes. So Naveen, you're known in the crypto circles also.
I've been looking for in the crypto industry. I know a guy now. I'm glad. Thanks.
Yeah, honestly, if
and he's the guy. He's like
he's the guy to know, and he wants people to reach out to him. So
let's do it, Naveen.
Awesome.
We can start a club.
Yes.
Stop trying to get
Called
people
Cred. The Cred Club.
No, Rytasha just wants
No.
people to teach her more about crypto so she can invest in it and then make a little group of make money.
I'm a little old like that. I'm like, buy some uranium and silver, guys. Think long run.
And the metal you chose is silver?
Yes.
I don't
Isn't
have time to
uranium
get
a
into these
metal
things.
also?
Uranium
nuclear
is
power
used
plants
for
are
nuclear power plants.
Yes, it's not a metal, it's a
Sugar.
gas.
Ayushi, sugar is also good, by the way. I think. Maybe.
Invest
Well,
in
futures
Ayushi
market
deals
is
in, yeah.
with the futures market, sugar is volatile. So I
I
wouldn't.
think this is the
suggest it.
part where they'll like tune out and put in the music and all. Ye conversation.
Cool. I guess.
Jalasmi, you can cut it now. We'll still talk, but I'll stop the recording.
Naveen, I just love you.
Love you, man. I love you guys. You guys are so much fun. I don't know if it can ever get tiring talking to you guys and being around you guys. It's too much
That's
fun.
actually very nice of you to say because I don't believe you half the time when you say that.
No, I mean it. I cannot lie now.
No, that is true. You cannot. It's
lie.
against your faith.
Yes.
Oh
I will not
Now
lie.
we know. Oh my God, that means an actual real life blue tick celebrity likes to hang out with me.
Ayushi, I also like to hang out with you.
Okay, but I told you this a long time ago. I forget routinely how famous you are.
I'm not that famous. That's why nobody in the mountains recognizes me.
I'll
It's
never
actually
forget
nice.
when we were at Goa airport and Rytasha has been hounded by a
Whoa.
group of like children and their
Nice.
mothers. And this little bee has been like, and we were all with her, like 3 other friends. We
Yeah.
were coming back from a bachelorette party. And she's like, this is makeup Didi. This is my hair Didi.
Nice.
So we were like, okay. They did not care
Nice.
about us. They
Guys,
just wanted
oh
Rytasha
my
to
Don't stop
autograph.
recording.